Thanks, Muchai, for opening up. Yesterday, I think Kushal said a very interesting story. Muchai and Kushal met. Where is Kushal? Yeah, here, right here. So Kushal said that, okay, you're going to teach me how to use ERPNext and Frappe framework. And I'm 100% sure that in a couple of months, I'll be competing with you. And what Muchai said, I would have run away, by the way, hearing that. But Muchai said that too many fish in the sea, right? There are too many fish in the sea. Market is huge enough. So I'm happy to make my own competitors and teach them, right? So I think that's the spirit, that's the community spirit that Muchai comes with. So thanks for opening. I'll have so myself, Umair, I'm one of the co-founder of Frappe Technologies. And Karibu, Habari, I'm just trying to kind of, show off a bit that we have been in Nairobi for a couple of days now, but really mean it. Yeah, welcome, really, really heartening. And it's been great. It's been a couple of days. We've been in Nairobi. From very beginning in our journey, I think I'm talking about 2009 and 10, we had awesome traction since then from African region, from Kenya, Nigeria, many NGOs, and first enterprise customer also actually came from Africa. And on the record, the traction from African region for Frappe and ERPNext is more than what we get from Europe and America, right? So you guys are doing something really awesome, unique. Just, kudos to you guys. And yeah, and that was, so of course, my colleagues have been here. I think Ankita, Hussain, they were here last year. My friend have been here, and they shared lots of stories. So my expectation was like this: I'm gonna have fun. But the hospitality which we have received from you guys over a couple of days really flattened, really heartened. So thanks very much for so much hospitality. And yeah, I have this habit before jumping to topic, I pick one folk tale of a region and try and correlate our story or open source story with that. It might go flat, but I'll need your support and patience in making it happen. So how many of you have heard about the story of elephant and hare in a jungle? Is it a famous folk tale heard in Kenya? How many of you guys have heard about it? Some hands raised. Okay, very few. So I'll kind of narrate it in a way that you can also connect it with the open source thing. So there is a huge jungle. Lots of animals are there, happily living, and suddenly there's a drought. There's no water, and all water bodies has dried up except one. And what elephant says, elephant claims his exclusivity, proprietorship over that water body, right? That only I will decide who will be able to drink water from this water body, and other animals in the jungle are like in fix. What do we do now? We are like completely dependent on elephant. And then the other animals form a community in a sense, that, okay, what should be the solution to this problem? And they decide that, okay, let's have hare go and talk to elephant, that water is too basic, everyone should have right over it. But elephant says, no, the power equation is at play. I'm the biggest elephant in the jungle, and I have the exclusivity, the proprietorship. You're getting my point, right? And what happens is, hare says that even if you don't, let people drink water, pond is big enough, people will come and try to steal it. And elephant is like, yeah, I'm okay with some piracy, that will establish my power in the jungle. That, okay, I really own this because people are coming and trying to steal it. That's how power equation grows and gets stronger, right? But then eventually hare tries to trick elephant by making a voice of an angel, that if you don't let other animal drink from this water pond, then there'll be drought. Drought will continue for 7 years and no one in the jungle will survive, and you won't be able to rule over anyone, And with some trick here and there, elephant understand, and he basically opens water body for everyone. It was a very kind of nice and heartening folktale I read and could connect with. So yeah, the idea is just like water is very basic and should be accessible to everyone, right? I'm like really against the mineral water bottle industry, but this is a separate topic. But yeah, it's pretty much like open source is like for everyone. We have SMBs or micro businesses also leveraging ERPNext or ERP solution, which otherwise they couldn't even have imagined of. So quickly coming to our beginnings, how Frappe started. Frappe started much before company was formed. Our founder Rushabh Mehta, he started making framework, Frappe framework. We'll learn more about it. But I think he has shared his journey. He was here last year, and I'm sure most of you have interacted with him. He made a framework when he was in college. Then he used that framework for making an ERP solution for his family business, and that's how he gained the knowledge of ERP. And in 2008, when company was formed, there was nothing like ERPNext. There was only Frappe framework, right? So, how many of you know Frappe framework here? What's the okay, nice. So, what's the most interesting feature in Frappe framework? What's the most used feature? Doc type, doc type everywhere. So no rocket science. It's doc type. Of course, hell lot of features are there. Its batteries included, metadata driven, but this is a superpower. Me being a functional consultant, I'm not a developer, but I must have made hundreds of doc types and help company migrate from legacy software to ERPNext or Excel to ERPNext, and without any need of developer. So this is actually a superpower, especially for a people like and consultant like us. Like in no time, you can actually build a form, just like the form you guys filled for coming here, web form. You can build without help of anyone. So there's the power of I think Frappe framework. It empowers a lot and offers out of the box a lot of things. So I'm sure many of you know, so I'll try and skip it. It's completely robust, scalable, flexible. You will hear the story. And then I came into picture in 2007, I guess. I was fresh out of college. I didn't even knew docs and Excel and everything properly. So everything which I learned, even being able to speak, is thanks to Frappe. I'm actually jack of all trade, master of none. I started my journey doing support. And then I switched to project management and then tried my hand with products a bit, and currently I'm into partnership, making partner relationships. Uh, I'm sure all of you guys know ERPNext. Its batteries included all-in-one modules where you don't have to basically install lots of application because it is a monolith. You get selling, buying, inventory, all these core accounting features built into ERPNext. So with lots of integration and customization available out of the box. I think it's been journey of 17 years now, and we really see much brighter future ahead. We have 6,000 plus managed by us. Community is much bigger. Because it's an open source solution, we don't even know that have the track as to how many people are already using it, and we are a team of 70 people. So coming to the tech stack, very quickly, as I said, the superpower we have in our ecosystem is Frappe framework. That's an underlying technology using which we build multiple applications like ERPNext, HR. You guys have built 100 plus applications on marketplace, and if ERP is basically a business of customizations in all the way. So you can also build custom applications as per your requirement. And this is all possible using Frappe framework. And then come customers. There will be several customers who would have several needs. And what they can do is basically they can pick and choose. Some customer would need ERPNext and some app from the marketplace like Kenya localization or Tanzania localization, and they can easily pick and have it for their customers. So this is what the tech stack was for a couple of years, but we have introduced one more layer called Frappe UI, which allowed us to basically make or become not just a ERP shop, but a multi-product company, right? So one amazing thing which you are actually gonna see in coming talks, look forward to it, especially talks of Rucha and I think Suraj. One developer maintains and develops one product. Help desk is made by one developer. Builder, LMS, school, all this application which you will see is made by one developer because of the tech stack which we have. We are not just making software, but we are also making tools for building softwares. Yeah, and this is the magic of tech stack. We have been able to make our own Power BI equivalent, I would say. We have our own BI tool using Frappe framework, insights and whatnot, so that you can actually plug in multiple databases and build your own dashboards. And what's unique in all of these, I think we have spoken it already, it's 100% open source. And what it means for the customer is basically there's no per user licensing. You get rid of per user licensing. There's no vendor lock-in. You can start with any partner, switch partners, switch hosting, switch locations. And yeah, open source is feature. I mean, we keep hearing about DeepSeek and whatnot, right? All this language model is actually trained by us. Google works because we use it and we train them, right? So now this thing becoming open source, it will, will actually, because it is open source, people use it locally also, and will actually train it and make it better. So if it's free, then what's the business model of Frappe? What's the catch? How many people have faced this question? Many people, right? What's the catch? Right? So there's no catch. It's 100% open source and free. Our bread and butter comes from hosting business because no matter which application you use, where you deploy, you'll have to deploy it somewhere. You can do it locally, you can do it on various hosting platform, but we provide a very simple to use UI driven hosting platform called Frappe Cloud. So that's what our bread and butter is. And again, one unique thing about the Frappe Cloud is if you host that, then you also get a product warranty. So we provide a timely support, bug fix support on the bugs and queries which you face on some of these applications. And yeah, because we have the tech stack and everything available, as I said, we have 100 plus community applications. So Kenya localization, Tanzania localization, which is already published on these marketplaces, developed by you guys. We didn't develop it, and we completely rely on our partners to drive it. So, and how many of you have faced this question? Is if it is open source, open, the term open itself, kind of makes customers or prospect reluctant. So, how many of you face this? Is open source secure? Okay, definitely there are quite a few people. So what people understand is basically if it is open, that database will also be open. So we have to help them understand that it's a source code which is open. And if they don't understand, then we simply tell them the story that 95% of servers runs on internet. So if you're using internet, you are actually using an open source technology pretty much, because 95% of servers are running on internet. And if we have to basically find some information on internet, which resource we refer to, which resource we rely the most on. If I have to, let's say you guys are coming to Mumbai, welcome by the way, but yeah, which say website you would refer to and rely on? Anyone? Good. Yeah. So because Wikipedia is not managed by one company, right? It is a community-driven project. I can go to a page of Nairobi and make edits on page right away, right? I don't need any permission. It's not controlled. And because it is community-driven, it is so authentic that you can trust it. And because now it's completely open source, as I said earlier, SMBs who couldn't have actually think about ERP solution in the past can think of it now. And we have huge amount of case studies wherein people have migrated from Tally and Excel sheets to directly to ERPNext, and that has really built the ecosystem. And what about enterprises? Enterprise need a very, very battle tested, highly tested solution. And for that, we have this case study, credits to Aquatech, I guess, kiosk solution. They were here, by the way, last year and also presented their case study. They have been using ERPNext from 2021. In the database, they have about 90 million general entries, general ledger entries, and 80 million stock ledger entries, 600 users, hosted on Frappe Cloud. Because they are on our cloud, we have also optimized product a lot based on the blocker they were facing, and credits to Aquatech team for convincing them on Frappe Cloud and handling such a huge implementation. So I think Muchai wanted me to mention this. So it's open source, right? So it's very lucrative at the same time as to why not just relabel it and build our own brand using this. Right, and it has been happening. We keep coming across people who basically relabel and rename ERPNext. And I'll quickly share one quick story. There was a company in Singapore. The person gave a project for $25,000 to one service provider. That please build an ERP solution for me as per my requirement. And what that company did is basically just change the skin of ERPNext and gave ERPNext only. And the funder, the company eventually figured it out, and he came to us that, is it your product? And we were like, yeah, it's our product, it's just that the desktop has been changed. And that went up to litigation, by the way. That the customer was actually planning to sue that what you have done is actually cheating. So you can white label, it's open source, but what we prefer is basically we have a huge undercurrent for Frappe and ERPNext, and it's better you ride the tide. If you basically establish yourself as Frappe and ERPNext partner, you'll have lots of business which you can deliver rather than trying to relabel and establish your own brand. That will be kind of a tangent thing. So yeah, I think we talked about training. So if you want to learn ERPNext, we have our own platform called Frappe School, where you can find multiple courses on Frappe framework and ERPNext. I think there are quite a few students here. We have 200 partners worldwide, and we did training sessions and workshops with our partner in Kenya last 2 days, and that was very nice. So that's our way forward. So this is actually a complete ecosystem. When it comes to product, Frappe is taking care of it. But when it comes to last mile implementation, we rely completely on partners to do the last mile implementation, to build the localizations, to build the integrations, which is very prevalent in your industry. And in terms of marketing, of course, both of us have to rely. Frappe is here, sponsors are here. By the way, kudos to all the sponsors for making it happen. And anyone who has basically such a great product, but why aren't we marketing it? We have to do it together. That's a joint responsibility. And also the training, so that's a shared responsibility. We have to do it as a community. So yeah, it's pretty much a moment now, is how I would like to believe it. You have to reaffirm, and that's it from me. Asante. Asante sana. Thank you very much.
My name is Muchai Gateru from Navari Limited. I am a director at Navari Limited. So let me do an introduction. So the way Frappe was, so basically Frappe events happen is local events. They link up with the local partners and then they plan such events. In this case, what happened is they linked with the local partners, mostly the ones who are listed there as sponsors. And then along the way, it was decided, or it was agreed that the partners will have to do talks and so on. So I have been here before last year, so I was kind of okay with that. But our team members too were requested to do their talks on their localizations and success stories. So normally when we brought this up on WhatsApp, there was a lot of, I don't want to say fight back, but there was a lot of reluctance to probably give talks for the issue reasons, nervousness and public speaking. I was kind of okay with my section, which was about localizations. But later on, then it was that I'll be doing the opening talk or the keynote talk. And I felt a bit unqualified for that. I haven't done this much. At one point, I tried to dodge out of it. So I went to May. He's one of the co-founders of Frappe, and trying to justify why Frappe should be the first team to speak here. But he had a counter-argument, which apparently was really making sense. So here I am. So welcome everyone once more, and thank you for coming. So let me try by setting the pace. So I thought about a lot what I should talk about. Eventually it boiled down to Navari and its journey, because that is a story you're kind of familiar with. And then along the way I Googled what do you do when you are requested to do like a keynote. And one of the takes is that it should be a bit insightful, and it should speak to the audience. I will probably achieve some bit on speaking to the audience. Whether it will be insightful, that will be a take on your side. So eventually this talk is about open source, collaboration and sharing of knowledge, because I think eventually that's what Frappe does, sharing of knowledge, even though it's source code in this scenario. So I'll mostly tackle three things: the brief history of Navari, a few lessons. The few lessons I hope will be like insightful, because I know most of the audience are people who are trying to get into this business of ERP, specifically ERPNext. So maybe they can learn a few things from it. And then I'll just talk about two things about open source in the region and how it aligns on what I feel is mostly the culture here, because the African culture has a lot of sharing and collaboration, mostly. Okay, so my journey personally to Navari started with a company called Netcom. They build and they implement an HR and payroll system called Frappe. Some of the members are here. George is here. He was my boss at one point. So they still came, which is nice. That was back in 2008. And then I moved to Microsoft Dynamics from 2011 to 2017 stroke 2018. Navari as a company itself was registered in 2015 December, but the actual operations on ERPNext we started in 2018 October. So between 2016 and 2018, mostly what we did was Dynamics and SAP. The reason we did this, the two directors, which was me and Lewis. Lewis was from SAP background, I was from Microsoft Dynamics. So the idea was we get projects on Microsoft Dynamics and then we get subcontract projects on SAP, SAP for HANA. We were almost sure no one will give us direct business for SAP for HANA. And then from 2018, we got our first customer, that is Kitui Water and Sanitation. They are here. If they are not here, I know they are attending. What happened is we had a project for Microsoft Dynamics. One of the employees in that company moved to Kitui Water and Sanitation. So they called at one point, they said, we are looking for an ERP, but we are looking for a cost-friendly solution. I don't know if you have something like that. So I proposed ERPNext. I'd been looking at it. I'd heard of Frappe framework probably 3-4 years before then. And that's how we started on ERPNext as a company. For probably 3 to 4 years, we were a team of just 2 or 3 marks. It was me who did mostly customizations or any development that was needed and implementation, of course. And then there was Leonard who did almost every implementation and customer-facing project. Even Amy is supposed to be here. I'm not sure if he made it. At that time, there was no Frappe Cloud. Frappe Cloud will be introduced later by the Frappe team. This is where we host all our sites on ERPNext. It has a lot of advantages. Someone else will share the story on that. But we used to host on DigitalOcean. Others would host on Google. Even I see Style then because I think he was from then. Because I remember us talking about DigitalOcean and droplets and so on. So that's what we used to do. We became Frappe resellers. That's when we joined the ecosystem. The reason I'm saying this is most people start to implement ERPNext or Frappe solutions even before they are partners or even before they join the ecosystem. Remember, it's open source. There's really no limit on how you start or how you choose to go about it. So we joined the ecosystem by becoming Frappe resellers, and from then up to now, we are really very part of the ecosystem. We have attended several events in Mumbai, and we interact or we work very closely with Frappe team, especially the Ankita, who is the regional manager. From 2021 to date, we are Frappe partners. Frappe evolves too, because they are Frappe reseller and then Frappe partners. And then we migrated to Frappe Cloud, all our sites, for obvious reasons. At the moment, we are a team of 13, 4 full-time developers and 7 consultants. Consultants will be the people who map the business processes and configurations for customers. They'll come share their stories and so on. At the moment, we are in 14 countries, mostly in African countries. This is not really planned, I would say. What happens is because of probably marketing, we market a lot on social media sites. Being Frappe partners, some customers reach, reach, reach out to us after they have seen us on the partner portal. So someone from Burkina Faso will reach out. Someone from Ghana. It's a bit random. Probably we need to figure out how we can make it non-random, but that's how it works. Or that's how we have found ourselves with customers in 14 countries. This is our team. Only Pauline, who is not here, she hadn't joined then. This was a team building event we had at Village Market, I think, last year. That is it on Navari. So some of the lessons I want to share, or advice, I put advice in quotes because advice, the argument is advice doesn't work because argument works backwards. People can only see what you're saying after they have experienced it. So even if you give advice now, it flies over. Right, but after they face a few experiences, for example, then you have a lot to share. Number one, the business is all about services, whether it's implementation, whether it's customizations, whether it's supporting your customers, whether it's training your customers, and so on. The other thing is maybe learn to build a team. I think we have made some progress on that. I'm very proud of the team at the moment. I feel we are a bit solid. This has kind of relieved me from any development or even any implementations at the moment. Basically now I am a coordinator and mostly sales. All I can say is it takes time for those who want to venture into it. It actually takes a lot of time. The first 2-3 years won't be very easy, but with persistence, it's okay. Learn to experiment and have fun at it so that you don't put a lot of pressure on yourself because that's the only way. Now the thing is, I just want to mention a bit about open source in the region. Number one, what I wanted to talk about is how open source is really ingrained in our society. We collaborate a lot in how we engage with each other in the region. We share a lot. Some of the examples is community projects, for example. Where I come from, it's from the mountainside. So there are normally no utility companies providing water. So what people do is they just collaborate and then they travel a bit far and then they kind of, what is the correct word? They build like a small dam and then they dig all the way 4 kilometers and then they just connect their homes. It's basically collaboration. No one is paying anyone. People just go around calling each other to join the effort. The other thing is for those mostly in Kenya, there's a concept of chamas. Chamas are like fundraising or for various reasons. Even people fundraise to buy utensils, to buy furniture in their homes, for many reasons, for school fees and so on. So the concept of collaboration and sharing is really ingrained. So open source kind of it's a natural fit, I would say, for the society. The other thing is probably I wanted to raise is our role in the ecosystem. When I say our, mostly I mean especially existing partners or those who are kind of keen on it. I don't have answers to this, but one of the ways I was thinking, because I have spent some time thinking about it, how we can probably enhance the ecosystem. One of the ways I could think of without a lot of ambiguity and without trying to get into many things that may lead to lack of focus is local trainings. This one mostly I would call upon our team members. I think I have raised that several times with them. We even trying to say maybe there should be some motivations for doing this, but we haven't picked it up. What happens is when you go back from here, you kind of pick on everyday work and you forget. My feeling is if there are people who are trained on this, from those who have more experience, number one, they can make money for themselves. They can monetize it easily. It's easy to monetize such a solution, especially ERPNext and related. Number two, the more capable people are on the solutions, the plus for the ecosystem. Number one, happy customers, more references, more growth generally. These, of course, the philosophical arguments of engaging in open source, but I'm pretty sure there are other people more qualified for that. I still adhere to them, but I just feel probably I'm not the right person to talk about that. But that one is still part of it, because we still need to remember we are part of an open source ecosystem. Thank you.
Today I'm here to talk about the Frappe revolution and how Frappe is innovating both business and organization culture. Before that, I want to talk about my journey in Frappe. Previously, I started my career with management consulting, followed by product management, and joined Frappe a year and a half ago. What really interested me about Frappe was the fact that the website had a role called Dreamer written on it, and asking for people joining, whoever is having a vision to contribute to Frappe. That was very interesting to me. And then when I landed in the office, I had a chat with Rishabh and was inspired by his focus on building quality products and his organic and bootstrapped approach to growth. That's the reason I started working with Frappe. The first thing that really surprised me and inspired me in Frappe was the culture. And I want to talk about culture first before even moving to the business, because that's also a reason why we are able to do what we do. So like most of us who worked in, say, MNCs or corporates, we are used to working in a top-down organization where most decisions are already made and you're told to do what to do and how to do. It's never about the why. And to be honest, when I moved from my previous experience to Frappe, even I operated with that, unknowingly had to unlearn a lot of things, because even I operated with that approach. I started working with people, delegating, asking people, this is what it's supposed to be done. But I realized I had my own journey of building credibility in the company. People don't usually assume authority. People don't give, usually respect is earned in Frappe. And that's one positive thing I noticed when I joined Frappe. Another thing most of us have experienced, or probably even do at times, is we set targets, we set incentives that, hey, let's achieve this growth and this revenue growth or customer growth. And we are all going to be getting these rewards out of it. And all of us are driven by external rewards in that case. But in Frappe, most of us are excellence-driven, we are quality-driven. We want to be the best version of ourselves, be it sales, engineering, marketing, support. Most of us are driven by quality, and that's what makes us unique. And the reason we are able to do what we do boils down to the 3 core values of Frappe. Number 1 is excellence. And I also want to share my personal story here. When I joined the company, I was pretty excited because, this is a very unique company and whatnot. And I tried to do a lot of things. Like, I got my hands into multiple projects, tried to do everything, because I'm a kind of person who takes ownership. But I think in that process, I realized since I'm not an expert in a few things, I definitely produce subpar outcomes in few. And thanks to all the colleagues in my company, thanks to everyone, I was called out for it. And I think that inspired me to set a high bar for myself. And I think that culturally is quite ingrained in how we operate. We set high standards for each other. We operate with first principles. We solve solutions. We bring solutions which are new and thought of from ground up, instead of copying something or, hey, this person is doing things, let's do this. We have our first principle approach to growth. We prefer quality over speed. Usually timelines are not important. Usually quality takes a much higher priority. and we are very candid with feedback. To be honest, we can be better in feedback. I think feedback culture is still work in progress in the company, but I think we are pretty decent compared to other companies out there. The second thing that surprised me is when I joined, I was asked, what would you like your pay to be and what would you like to work on? Uh, has anyone experienced something like this when they joined the company? I'm assuming no, right? Has anyone? Okay, no. Yeah, so I think just being able to pick my own, work, pick my own pay, built an insane amount of agency and entrepreneurial spirit in me. Even being like an employee or even being like a contributor, part of the team, I thought I was, I could bring my own self to the company, and that's what freedom helped me with. And the last is authenticity. I think all of us try to be politically right, and at times also try, for the lack of a better word, end up people pleasing. But I think the culture also taught me that I completely had to reset all the things, unlearn all the things I've learned in the company, previous companies, and built my own whole self. I started speaking what I really feel. I started doing what I really say, and those things really helped me thrive in Frappe. And I think thanks to that, I had my own path to excellence in the last 1.5 years. I did some interesting things I'm pretty proud of. I think the best is yet to come. But I ended up helping significantly with product marketing, building dashboards, enabling Frappe Cloud, Frappe Cloud's growth journey, helping the sales team with how to pitch Frappe Cloud. And I think that has helped me in my path to excellence. How many of you know that we are a democratically run company? Does anyone know? Some of you know. Okay. When we say we are a democratically run company, most important decisions go through votes. Everybody have a way to make their voice heard. And that not just applies to our internal teams, even our partners. So we have this partner council with all of our partners every month, and most of our important decisions like discounts to the partners or certain events, we vote on it and make sure that everybody's voice is heard before taking any decision. So you might wonder, like in this culture, what is the role of leadership? Because mostly things are self-correcting and kind of excellence happens in the process. But I think learning from Rushabh, I think what I've understood is the role of leadership boils down to empowering people. So the last performance review we did with our company was about discussing people's 5-year goals, 10-year goals, and how can Frappe achieve, or how can Frappe be a vehicle to achieve that. That's very unique. I think most of our performance review discussions are not about, what did you do, what did you achieve, why didn't you achieve this, how could you do better. Of course, those things are important, and feedback is also important. But there's always a view on everybody's long-term future and career. And the way to set high standards is give brutal feedback, ask questions. And my role in future is also going to be focusing on building a team of A players. Now, switching from culture to business, I won't talk too deeply because Umair gave a wonderful talk about what we've been up to when it comes to business model. But my understanding of Frappe evolved from earlier. I thought ERPNext we are an ERPNext company, and soon I got exposed to all the other apps that we've been building, and then I came to know that hosting is how we are making money, and probably that really makes sense because that's the best way to meaningfully associate with a customer, add value to the lives of customer, despite making apps open source. But there was always this question, like the business mindset in me always questioned, like, why are we open source? We could be a proprietary company, or even with open source, people have unique, what the investor reports say. If you read about what VCs and investor reports say, most people use open source as a path to making money eventually, which is making certain modules open core or a freemium, or selling enterprise support services, or having a SaaS version of your open source app, And those things are pretty interesting. Like even though open source as a community value helps, but even as a business, it made sense to me. But when I got more exposed to the community, to the partners, to the FOSS community in India, I was exposed to a lot more that open source is able to do, and my eyes opened up to just beyond the business opportunity, which is entrepreneurship and innovation. Let me tell you a story. Vivek Digambarnath is one of our partners from UAE, and I recently watched his video on YouTube where he started his entrepreneurship journey 7 years ago with having no capital to invest to buy any expensive partnerships of SAPs of the world and so on. And today, after 7 years, he's been able to beat the top partners in SAP in his region, but he started with Frappe. And I think that's what Frappe has been able to deliver, which is being able to have local entrepreneurs build a great business and thrive. The second thing with open source, we've been able to do is help enterprises end vendor lock-ins. Most of our customers who've moved from SAP or Microsoft Dynamics have been extremely grateful about how our technology has helped freed them from previous lock-ins. And of course, Umair spoke about community innovation. We have hundreds and actually thousands of apps built on the framework, which is a great sign of innovation. So yes, there are two growth engines that we currently focus on. One is Frappe Cloud, which is a meaningful way to add value to our customers with secure, scalable, and reliable hosting. And the second one is Frappe Partnerships. We are investing significantly in helping, enabling, and growing our partner ecosystem with trainings, with engagement, with in-person support. And those are the two engines that have been driving our growth so far and will continue to drive the growth in the future. That's why we see a huge, significant growth of our partners on Frappe Cloud. And that's a sign of the value we've been adding to the partners through all the engagement and enablement. Yeah, that's all I had. I think when we are successful, and not if, when we are, a huge credit will go to both the culture and the business model. And on that note, thank you for the time, and thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Karibu. We are very delighted to be here in Nairobi, and thank you for the amazing hospitality, especially by our partners, Muchai, Mitesh, and a couple of other partners who I can see in the audience. Thank you for the warm welcome. So last year, we were in the same hall at the same time, with three of our Frappe people joining in Nairobi, Rushabh, Hussain, and myself. And we were having our Frappe local event in the same hall. You can see it's the same background. So we were here, we had our Frappe local event, and we took an incentive that we will promise that we will have our first international overseas Frappeverse conference in Nairobi. And so we are all here. So we have kept that promise, and we are here with our Frappe team. So, yeah. So a quick introduction about myself. I'm Ankita. I'm the regional manager for Africa in Frappe. I've been working for the Africa community and focusing on Africa growth for the last 2 years. And I'm here to share the journey so far in Africa for the last 2 years, my learnings of what I have learned for the last 2 years, and what I can think of can be the potential growth drivers for this region. So let me start with the journey so far. So our main focus as Frappe has always been in community building. So our focus, and Neha also has mentioned in her presentation that our main driver for force is Frappe partnership, one of them, and the other one is Frappe Cloud. So we have currently 27 partners in Africa. Last year when we were here, we had 14. Today we have around 27, so that is 2x. And all thanks to the entire community for that. Also on Frappe Cloud, we saw that a lot of customers are adopting Frappe Cloud in Africa. Last year, we had around 412 customers. This year, we are reaching 600. So kudos to all the partners who are contributing, getting customers on Frappe Cloud, helping create an awareness in the region with regard to the product. So now we are around 600 sites, customers on Frappe Cloud from Africa. And our MRR growth, which we showcase, is primarily through Frappe Cloud, and it has substantially been growing for the financial year. It has a steady growth. So overall, we had around a 2x growth in this financial year in Africa. So, and our major focus point has been to create awareness in the last financial year. And we have been doing that with our partners, with the community, through webinars. So we have been doing webinars with regards to compliances, local compliances, regional specific webinars as well, local language as well. We have done one in Swahili too. So we have been doing that so that we can create a general awareness with regard to the product. And of course, our incentive is to have a robust community. That is the reason that we have partner locals where we focus on sales training, marketing enablements for our partners. So we drive that with our partners and we understand what challenges they are facing. So we give the voice to them so that they can help us grow in this region. Also, we have our trainings, which is driven through Frappe School. Yesterday and day before, we had 2 trainings. One was on Frappe Framework, which was taken by Suraj, and one was by Rucha on Frappe HR and Payroll. So we did training courses, and we would want to do these training courses more frequently as well, to create this awareness in Africa. But it has not been always a smooth sailing. There has been always challenges. Nothing is smooth sailing. So the challenges has been that there's still a lack of awareness and trust. I think because there is still a lot of adoption of proprietary software, which we can see over the years, like the last 2 years I have been working in the Africa region, there's still a lot of adoption of proprietary software. And the one thing that they focus on is trust. So I think there is still a lot of adoption with regard to open source, which needs to happen in Africa. And the second one is a personal learning, which I have learned about this region, is economic and political instability. The political instability is not in every country in Africa, but a couple of them, because of which it is impacting business growth of the local businesses which are there in Africa, and due to which the adoption of any business software becomes very, very difficult. So entrance to the software in the region becomes very difficult. So I think this problem is faced with any business software who's trying to be part of the Africa community. And the next one is local compliances, but I think that is not specific to only this region, but I think it's very regional specific challenge. I think regional specific like Middle East, India, Europe, everyone faces this issue that there are some e-invoicing, local compliance regulations, and especially in the industry that we are in, which is primarily ERP, has a lot of dependency on these regulations. So the challenge has always been how can we create these local compliances around this product. So we have been finding ways to tackle these issues. So our plan for Africa for the next financial year is to actually take an incentive to grow it 4x through awareness, through adoption of the product, and majorly we are planning to do more local community building. So that means more events, more awareness, more trainings, and more product adoption. So we are planning to have more events like this quarterly so that we can reach out to you. If you have any problems, we can help you out. So that's how we are trying to build the local community here. Next is app localizations. So we will have some showcase today also about what app localizations have been around. I think Navari's team and Aquatech's team will showcase some of them today. And we have the M-Pesa integration on Frappe Cloud. We have Tanzania localization, which is done by Aquatech on Frappe Cloud, and also e-invoicing, which is done by ERP champions for Uganda, also on Frappe Cloud. So there are some compliances which are already there. There are some localizations which are readily available on Frappe Cloud, which the community can leverage on. And the next is that recently we faced this issue of overseas transactions. So we are trying to simplify payments this time in this financial year so that these payments can be done to, on Frappe Cloud, the payments can be done, right? So that has also been our focus, and some of it will be showcased today as well. So we have some big announcement which needs to be done. So on that note, so let's build the community together, make it grow bigger and stronger, and let's create a robust community in Africa for Frappe, and let's build it together. So Asante, thank you so much. And thank you for everyone for welcoming the Frappe team, and especially all the partners who have been wonderful in inviting us. Thank you.